Hello and welcome to the Today's Soapbox podcast. Today's episode is covering a recent article called Traditionally Published Fanfiction, the trend that is taking over mainstream publishing and Hollywood. If you take a closer look at publishing and filmmaking recently, some of the stories have a common origin: fanfiction. Fanfiction is writing based on characters, worlds, and events that the author did not create. It can be inside an existing franchise, like Star Wars or Lord of the Rings, or involving real people, like members of a band. It is usually published online for free on fanfiction sites like Archive of Our Own, or AO3, or Wattpad. Fanfiction exists in a unique space to avoid copyright infringement, so it has evolved to live in a space in the modern internet context. Creating fanfiction allows writers to practice writing without needing to create characters or settings from scratch. Many writers use it as a tool for improving their skills in writing dialogue and narratives without having to do the world building around it. Fanfiction is a mark of impactful source material, signifying that other creatives are inspired by a creator's work and want to continue in that setting. What we write is influenced by what we read, even if writers create their own original settings and characters. There is no way to extract an artist from their inspiration. Sometimes, art inspires work that surpasses the impact, popularity, or even quality of the original work. Some authors choose to take their fan works and go through a process called filing serial numbers to remove details specific to the fandom, like character names, locations, etc., while retaining the original story and character dynamics. This separates a fanfiction from the fandom it was created within, so the creator can then publish it as an original work. Fanfictions within the fandom communities are often adapted because of their popularity and large readership that could translate to sales when traditionally published. This process is gaining popularity, but is not without controversy. Some readers feel that replacing the fanfiction with a fandom-less version of it takes away the joy that they felt reading the original. When a fanfiction is set to be adapted, it is usually removed from the website where it was available for free as part of the contract with publishers or filmmakers. Readers will often download them if they are concerned they will be removed. This process takes something that was once available for free to readers and turns it into something with a payment barrier to make profit. This can feel disrespectful as it goes against the initial purpose of fanfiction and infringes on copyright and fair use. These revised versions often still feel reminiscent of their source material, even though identifying elements were removed. It can be distracting as there is still heavy dependence on previously established character dynamics, systems of magic or government, and even cover art that resembles the original source. This has become a marketing tool, with some books being purposefully and overtly advertised as former fanfictions. For some fanfictions, their published version uses graphics that resemble the characters from the source material. A notable example is The Love Hypothesis, which is based on a romantic fanfiction of Rey and Kylo Ren from the Star Wars sequel trilogy. In the print version of this article, you can see a picture of the book cover of The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood, and then a photo of Kylo Ren and Rey as they're depicted in the film Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. The Love Hypothesis is not shy about its origins within the Star Wars fandom. The male romantic lead in the book is named Adam, which is the name of the actor who portrays Kylo Ren in the films, Adam Driver. In the upcoming film adaptation of the book, the role of Adam will be played by Tom Bateman, husband of actress Daisy Ridley, who portrayed Rey. Not all fanfiction adaptations are marketed this way. The first book in the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare originated as a Harry Potter fanfiction in 2004 that featured a romance between Ron and Ginny Weasley before being reworked as an original series with identifying elements changed, like making the romantic leads not biological siblings. It was somewhat known how this series originated, but that has not been an overt aspect of the marketing. Manacled is a Draco Malfoy and Hermione Granger fanfiction written by Sen-Lin Yu that combines elements of Harry Potter and The Handmaid's Tale in a dark romance story. It was published between 2018 and 2019 and ultimately taken down on January 1st, 2025 in order to be traditionally published. It was then published as Alchemized, with many elements changed to remove fandom identifying elements. This is set to happen again with the over 500,000 word All the Young Dudes, which is a widely popular Harry Potter fiction by Miss King Bean 89 that takes place during the Marauders era, which follows the story of Harry's father, James, and his friends, including werewolf Remus Lupin, going to wizarding school at Hogwarts in the 1960s. The rights to an adaptation called Wolf Boy by B.N. King have been purchased and will follow a werewolf and his friends at Hatherley Experimental School in the 1960s. Fanfiction can be taken to negative extremes when distributed unethically. Some fans have sold printed copies of freely available online works without the fanfiction author's permission, profiting off of their work. This can also happen if the writer sells their writing without the permission of the rights holder of the original source material. The work needs to be kept in its specific space, separate from the source material, to ensure that copyright law is followed. Some fans choose to send the work to the people involved, like authors, actors, or real-life subjects. This becomes even more invasive when the work is a real person fanfiction, or RPF. Some storylines in these fan-written works can be very disturbing or destructive to the real people it is based on. Readers of traditionally published works who don't engage with online fanfiction spaces would often not make the connections between fandom elements and the work as they know it. This often happens with alternative universe, or AU, fics that are often so removed from the original material and would not otherwise be connected. An example of this is the After series and The Idea of You, both of which are based on Harry Styles. The characters based on Styles, Hardin Scott and Hayes Campbell, are very different. Hayes is in a boy band, which can lead people to the connection, but Hardin is controlling, intense, and not involved with a band. The Love Hypothesis also takes place in an AU that removes science fiction elements of Star Wars and places the characters in a laboratory setting. They also make choices that would be out of character for Rey and Kylo Ren. Readers would not read this and make the connection without specific marketing or chatter that highlights the connection. What remains of the source material is character dynamics and maybe physical descriptions of characters. The rest comes from the creative mind of the new author. Depending on how a work is marketed and adapted, it can develop its own identity separate from the work that inspired it, continuing the cycle of art. Special thank you to this article's guest consultants A. Carncross and R. Stringer, and editor M. Vo for their insights that helped me guide my thinking. If you want to learn more about this topic, in the article I have linked some videos that helped inspire my thinking. If you enjoyed this episode, I encourage you to follow or subscribe to the Today's Soapbox podcast. Leave a like or comment on this episode. Let me know what you think. I would love to hear. Are there other fan fictions that turned into, traditionally published works that you didn't know? Or are there some that you read as fan fictions and then later read as traditionally published works? Was anything in this article surprising you? I'm so interested to hear what you were thinking. I would definitely say that the thing that I got most carried away with is the fact that the Love Hypothesis has a character seemingly named after the actor, and then that character is being played by the actual spouse of the other person involved. So it gets a little hazy, and I'd be really interested to hear what your guys' opinions are on this. So thank you for listening, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.